We're here in Coedwedd Dyfi in the Meithrin of oak woods, and we're surrounded by the characteristic species of our temperate rainforest. So hazel here, rowan, oak, downy birch, all the species you'd expect to find. These young saplings have grown up of their own accord, and in an ancient woodland like this, natural regeneration, so trees naturally seeding themselves, is what we'd really prefer to see. It's the best way to establish trees, allowing them to develop their genetic diversity and help them be resilient to climate change. But quite often we can't just rely on natural regeneration to restore these woodlands. There are some cases where to restore or to create new woodland, you really do need to plant. And for that, you need seed from the native species that you're looking to re-establish. And particularly, ideally, you want that seed to come from the local area where you're planting. So Wales is all part of Provenance Zone 30, and more specifically, this western zone of Wales is part of Zone 303. So our temperate rainforest zone, if you're looking for seeds to plant, you'd be looking for 303 provenance, which means that the seeds have been collected in this area from trees that grew naturally in this area.
My job is to work at landscape scale, and that involves thinking about how everybody works together within that landscape, thinking about woods and trees, so collaboration is a key part, but also when we're working with farmers or community groups or anybody who's interested in planting trees really, we need to make sure that they have the best chance of survival. And to do that, we really need trees that are going to be adapted to that environment where we're working. And so if we're looking for the right tree in the right place for the people, then really we want to make sure that we've got a wide range of tree species, but ones that are really adapted to the local environment. So for that purpose, we need to find trees that are locally grown but also locally sourced.
5 or 10 years ago, I realised that there wasn't enough locally adapted trees in North Wales and Anglesey. So it was really hard to get hold of local provenance and trees that are adapted to the harsh conditions that we have here. It's windy, there's a lot of salt spray, and there's a lot of exposure. We identified that there was a massive shortfall in the amount of planting stock that was needed for this region and the amount of planting stock that was available and suitable to plant in this region.
Lots of community woodland groups that we identified and talked to about how they would like to do this were the ones that came up with the ideas of having this training and support and advice, and we worked with Llais y Goedwig, the Community Woodland Network group in Wales, and put on the training and support to help them, empower them to really become much more confident in going out and collecting tree seeds and then using that and providing the trees back that can be used for the schemes and put back into the landscape, and the best trees then for that landscape.
Well, firstly, we need to support the community sector who are managing woodlands in a variety of ways. So doing this series of workshops has been a really good complement to all the other support we do as well. Everyone has realised there are not enough trees to go around, and that is causing importation of trees from other parts of Europe, and with that comes, well, we lose our local provenance and all that local adaptation that the local trees have, but it's also risks of pests and diseases.
Today we've got a course to show people how to set up a tree nursery from scratch. So we've had a discussion this morning around all of the things that you might have to think about before planning a tree nursery, where we've got lots of resources and everyone's going to start planning out their tree nursery and thinking about where the prevailing winds come from and how they can prevent pests and diseases from coming.
So it's protected from the other one, so you get the best of both. You get two.
start with the tree seed collecting. So we do that in autumn. So teaching people how to collect seed, how to look after it if it needs various processes before it germinates, and then how to propagate and grow those seedlings, how to look after them and the soil mediums. We also have done registering tree seed stands, why that's important, and how that supports more local provenance seed going into the system locally in community groups, but also being able to feed that seed then up into the larger scale, into the big tree nurseries that are commercial, and then those registered tree seeds can then come back into local areas and local groups to be planted. We've done biosecurity and tree health. We do a tree nursery skills share where we go around different scale tree nurseries, commercial or community level, around Wales and ask the nursery people to share their skills. And often you find when we say it's a skills share, it's not always just the trainer, of course. A lot of people in the group have experience and knowledge to varying degrees, so it's a really good sharing day.
Well, I've just met lots of lovely people who have a passion for trees, whether it's planting them or growing them. And we come across problems here which are quite often similar to the problems which other growers have. And we can sort of swap hints and tips. And climate is very variable. Tree seed is very variable as well. Sometimes you have abundance of other tree seed and then a sort of deficit in other years. So it's always useful to be able to compare that and pass that on then to the volunteers and encompassing the local community in what you do. Very, very valuable.
In terms of who's getting involved, we have wildlife trusts coming along to our workshops. We have more and more local authorities coming along. The national parks are setting up tree nurseries, and many of them are teaching us as well, so they're part of the training network as well as the learners. So as well as community groups and also social enterprises and also sole traders, individual small traders are wanting to set up as well, and also farmers and private landowners too.
Da ni wedi bod yn cynnal gweithdai yn man hyn a hyfforddi, so maen nhw'n dod yma drwy Llais y Goedwig, drwy Coedwedd yma i wneud sesiynau fforddi sydd wedi sefydlu Meithrin a Goed ac unrhyw do's and don'ts, beth sy'n beth da i wneud, beth sy'n beth drwg i wneud, a mae lot fawr nhw yn y dechrau cyntaf, so mae'n handi gweld sut mae hwnna yn symud ymlaen, felly a mae'n beth, dwi bod yn eitha, bod beth da, a gobeithio wneud y bernadiaeth gweithio ymlaen i'r gyfodol hefyd. Dwi'n dîm o ddau, mae John yma gyda fi yn helpu allan y Meithrin yma. Da ni ddau ddim yn mynd dim iau, so da ni wedi bod yn cyflogi criw o bobl ifanc i helpu ni. Bydda cynllun prentisiad ond hefyd ar gynllun profiad gwaith. Da ni'n eitha ffodus, dwi'n modd i wneud jobyn go lew, maen nhw wedi mynd yn symud ymlaen yn y diwydiant. Mae Leri oedd gyda ni rhyw flynedd yn ôl wedi mynd i weithio gyda'r National Trust, a mae hwnna hefyd, da ni'n bartneriaeth gyda'r National Trust, so mae pob peth. Mae'r gweithio mewn partneriaethau yn bwysig iawn i ni hefyd i gael bach o brofiad unigol, ond hefyd mae o'n picture mawr, tu allan i'r mae'n beth pwysig ar ran yr ymgylchedd o beth, so mae o'n eitha positif ac mae'n eitha neis gweld y bobl ifanc mae'n dod i mewn i'r diwydiant. A llond brwdfrydedd, a dyn ni'n channel o hwnna ymlaen i nhw fod i gael gyrfa career yn y diwydiant, a mae'n beth pwysig hefyd ynddo.
Blwyddyn diwetha nes i gweithio fel apprentice i'r partneriaeth tirwedd y Carneddau, a pan o'n i'n gweithio efo nhw, o'n i'n gweithio gyda'r parc Eryri a mewn cwpl o meithrinfeydd coed. Nes i gweithio yn Plas Tan y Bwlch a cychwyn casglu hada i tyfu coed yn hunain yn fanna. Felly oedd dod i'r cyrsiau yma yn ffyrdd briliant i cwrdd â pobl a dysgu mwy o ffyrdd gwell o prosesu hada a tyfu ymlaen coed a rhannu'r gwybodaeth yna efo. Nathon ni casglu hada o coed felin rhyd yn Llanarch. Fydd rhai o'r coed da ni wedi tyfu ymlaen wedyn yn dod ymlaen efo fi'r gwaith dwi'n neud rwan a plannu allan ar y carneddau.
At the beginning of this last year's programme, we looked at digital platforms to support people to discuss and work together. We've set up 4 WhatsApp groups across Wales, so one for the whole of the north, one in the mid and 2 south east, south west. And we've had a really good take up of that, and we're getting really good offers of, site visits have been offered on those. People go and visit each other. We have seed swapping going on, being posted, and people looking for trees, extra trees, or offering extra trees. So it's a really good platform. It's working well, and we do say some people have joined several WhatsApp groups. It's not strictly speaking regional, but it helps. It helps to keep it that way as well.
There's a lot of learning points that we can share from each other across the network, and that saves a lot of time, because it means that small nurseries with volunteers aren't spending time and resources reinventing the wheel when this has already been done elsewhere. So it's really a good way of finding out quickly from other people's experience of what works in small-scale nurseries.
Llais y Goedwig produced some guides, so why collect tree seeds, so the importance about why it's important to have tree seeds, why we need to collect local tree seed for the genetic diversity, the lower carbon emissions and the shorter supply chain. Then how to collect that tree seed, so that's really important obviously to do that in a best practice way, so thinking about leaving enough seeds for the woodland to regenerate, but also for the wildlife as well that relies on that. And then some of the groups expressed an interest in how they might sell the trees going forward, so using that as part of their business, so we produced a guide on that as well. These guides are available bilingually online, and it shows that everybody feels a really important aspect of collecting their own local tree seed and preserving that natural heritage as part of their idea of their own woodlands that are unique to their area.